Hello, everybody. My name is X Factor. Today, we're going to be talking about something near and dear to all of our hearts, and that has to do with players using third-party programs or assists, cheats, hacks, script kiddies, whatever you want to call them. It's been a major part of first-person shooters, and it's greatly affected my past, the present, and the future of all of us, whether you're a competitive player or just a pub player, whether it's the Battlefield franchise, whether you're playing Ubisoft games such as The Division or Rainbow Six Siege, if you play CSGO, or if you play Overwatch. We're going to be talking about the game of cat and mouse, where we stand as a community, and why it's a pretty good time to be a PC and even a console player. Because believe it or not, there are cheats and hacks and scripts available for past games on the console. Although it is much, much, much more rare at any point in time if anybody gets smart enough, because these developers of these third-party assists are very good at what they do, consoles can be greatly affected. So for most of you, you guys do not know, I used to be a competitive player in the Battlefield series, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, and we played in leagues, tournaments, all kinds of online play. Now, this is in the Battlefield franchise, and those titles use Punkbuster, not a very good anti-cheat. Back in the Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3 days, you would see people spin botting, busting out the LMG, and just ruining the whole server. Maybe killing you with med packs or the tugs in Battlefield 3, and Punkbuster wouldn't even bat an eye. It was so bad that competitive play forced us to record our perspective, and a lot of the cash tournaments also required third-party anti-cheat. So if there was tens of thousands of dollars up for grabs, or a bunch of video cards, or a bunch of swag, you also had to use some unknown third-party anti-cheat that would bog your system down. Well, I'm still a firm believer of forcing people to record their perspective, because what would happen is if something super shady happened, admins could call for your footage, or the other team could call for your footage. Admins would review it, and believe it or not, back in Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, I can't tell you how many leagues and tournaments where people would actually get busted using aim assist or walls. I mean, they're using third-party anti-cheat. They're forced recording, and they'd still use it. So it'd usually be some no-name guys coming from another community such as Call of Duty or Counter-Strike, or a couple new guys added to some roster of a team that's been around for a little bit. But it never ceased to basically fail. It always happened. So we went through this big pain in the butt back when I was competing, and it would absolutely bog down our systems. It would knock 20, 30, 40 frames down. But nowadays, there's Shadow Play. My personal favorite is DxTory, which doesn't bog down your system. It's absolutely great. And I think it'd be something great for some of these tournaments and leagues to start instilling in their rule set, just in case some crazy stuff is happening. The footage never lies. And also provides the admins, who are more than likely seasoned first-person shooter competitors, all the audio and video cues that player had at the time, because your team's comms are also captured. Was there a call out? Did they hear footsteps? Was there a visual cue? Did they land 3 or 4 crazy shots with no way of knowing without outsider information? So believe it or not, this happened all the time in my past. It was always stressful, frustrating, but hilarious at the same time. So what's that have to do with today? Well, I actually think we're in a pretty good place, because Battlefield got it together. They brought on Fair Fight for Battlefield 4, Star Wars Battlefront, Hardline, and moving forward for Battlefield 1. Now, Fair Fight isn't just this light switch. You just don't turn it on. It's coded on multiple levels. There's always tweaks and changes being made, because there's a lot going on with Fair Fight, including tons and tons and tons of tracking. Crosshair placements, you name it, it captures it. It's been wonderful in Battlefield 4. It's very rare to see cheaters that last very long in Battlefield. Punkbuster was horrible in Bad Company 2 and Battlefield 3, but it was better than nothing. Now, another set of games I used to play, and I might be going back to, is Ubisoft titles. Played The Division at launch, had quite a bit of fun, but the cheating, the hackers, the scripts kiddies were so prevalent, you would see people fly or empty out their entire mag in a couple frames. It was absolutely everywhere. We would see dozens of them a day. And of course, in The Division, there was stuff to lose. You might lose the gear in your bag. You might lose one of the drops that you were working so hard for. It wasn't just like Battlefield or another first-person shooter where you just lose a little XP and you're a little bit frustrated. And then Rainbow Six Siege. I really, really, really enjoy the premise of Rainbow Six Siege, the absolute destruction, the tactical side of it. It's awesome as a body kind of flies around there. But the problem with it is cheating was rampant on the PC side. But Ubisoft has stepped up their game. They had one of the softest stances on the exploiters, the third-party users that I've ever seen. In The Division, they'd give you a suspension for 3 days. Then they increased it to a week. And then they said it'd take multiple times before you'd lose your account. Well, they finally gave the permaban. But was it too little, too late? Now, Rainbow Six Siege has been working with Fairfight. Their anti-cheat has been improving. But they came out with BattlEye, another type of anti-cheat. And the ban hammer has been swift and fierce. Watching some of my buddies play the last couple days, including Darkness and Matimia, wondering if I want to get back in the game. And the ban hammer was just scrolling. Again, it's like Fairfight. If you're on a multiplayer server, you can see everybody who's online that catches a ban the second they log into their game or actually jump into a server. Hundreds upon hundreds of bans. And let's talk about another title. Something I've been really engrossed on is Overwatch Competitive. I absolutely love it. And Blizzard, back in the day, wasn't particularly known for their anti-cheat. It actually really sucked in some of the earlier Diablos. And then they got it together. And then with World of Warcraft, they didn't do too bad. But they came out the gate hot in Overwatch. They understood how much time, man hours, and money it was going to take to keep the community clean. And Overwatch just doesn't have this amazing anti-cheat. They've done several ban waves. The other day, they banned 7,300 more Asian players. That's insane. And they also name and shame. They'll throw your name, including your actual player profile, which is your name followed by a £, and some numbers, on the forums. And what's better yet is Overwatch links accounts. More than likely, and it's rumored to be linked to your BIOS, your actual motherboard. It's more than a hardware ID. It's very specific to your actual MOBO, which people haven't figured out how to spoof yet, which is incredible because as you read through these lists, you'll see the same player. Maybe Andrew 1, then Andrew 2, then Andrew 3, then Andrew 4, then Andrew 5. Players catching 4, 5, 6, 7 bans. On the PC side, that's a minimum of $40 a copy. And there's multiple instances of that. They don't care if you're cheating on your next account. If you buy a fresh one, once a cheater, always a cheater is their mentality. And of course, there's been tons of salt on the internet, people finding forum threads on these third-party cheating websites of just pure salt. People complaining that their second, third, and fourth account has been hit. So it's my opinion that Overwatch anti-cheat has joined the gold standard of what fair fight is in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 so far, which is great news because a lot of people play Battlefield 4, will play Battlefield 1, and play Overwatch now. And then you have the flip side of the coin with Valve and CS. Are they even trying? Yes, they've come out with Prime. Yes, there are some restrictions going on with leveling up, spending more time in-game. But watching and hearing my buddies talk about it, they still encounter cheaters in the high-level matchmaking all the time. Does Valve even care? And that's one of the things that prevents me from going back to CSGO. Yes, I did get to MGE with only 22 wins. I played a handful of games with Jack where we came across several hackers. 3 or 4 of my losses were to guys just destroying us through smoke and wall bangs, and even one guy spin botting, and then I solo queued quite a few. It was fun until you came across that. So here's my question for you guys. It's several parts. First off, every company has a different way of dealing with these players once they're caught. Again, Punkbuster made this amazing database so you could search players, see linked accounts, see GWIDs, and all the affiliated information. Blizzard has no problem naming and shaming tens of thousands of people at once. And of course, these companies seem to be getting much, much more strict, but there are consumer protection laws that have to be considered as well. So there are some limitations. So what do you think should become the new standard as these companies are making the next step? And the final part of the question is, how do you think your primary games are now when it comes to players using third-party help? Is it the best it's ever been? Is it the worst it's ever been? Have you seen a steady decline or a steady increase in the amount of players using potential assists? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching Hangout. We'll see you guys soon.